The Biden administration welcomes NATO leaders to Washington, D.C. The focus, Ukraine and its ongoing battle with Russia. But for President Joe Biden, the NATO summit also represents a huge test. White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Catherine, good evening. That test for the president you alluded to is to see if he can convince skeptical and nervous supporters he still has what it takes to continue as commander-in-chief for 4 more years if he wins in November.
The NATO summit arrives in Washington. Starting things off, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calls on NATO to include more women. He says Ukrainian women have already stepped up to protect their country.
Right now, there are thousands of Ukrainian women who are serving on the front lines, literally as snipers, as machine gunners, as medevac pilots, commanding tank units and artillery batteries. Every day, they prove that valor has no gender.
Also speaking today, outgoing NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, who has said this week's focus will be on securing additional defense commitments and trying to get the war in Ukraine to an end.
This summit will be a summit where we celebrate the most successful alliance in history, but we're also going to make important decisions for the future.
And as the NATO summit unfolds, President Joe Biden tries to save his re-election campaign, which has been in a tailspin following that poor debate performance. He knows all eyes will be on him. And in the White House press briefing room today, ahead of the president's scheduled remarks to NATO, the press secretary telling reporters,
"We do want to turn the page. You heard me say this last week. We want to get to the other side of this. We want to continue doing the work, and that's what the president's going to do."
President Biden's health, a key issue for many voters going into November's election. Late Monday, Biden's physician issued his first comments since the debate. Dr. Kevin O'Connor tried to explain reports about a neurologist visiting the White House multiple times. He says the doctor was available to see a variety of patients and maintains President Biden has not seen a neurologist outside of his annual physical.
Now, tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, the NATO summit really gets going. Work sessions, diplomacy, receptions, dinners, then a summit-ending news conference by President Biden. And one thing they're really talking about in this town right now is the heat. It is super hot. My phone today showing 105 degrees on the heat index. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.